viéndolos de nuevo. Ha sido hace casi 2 semanas, creo, no he estado en live en YouTube. Pues he estado muy ocupada. It's been a while since I saw you last. I think it's been 2 weeks because I've been too busy. So I haven't done no lives. So I'm going to do both Spanish and English, you know. And I'm pretty sure there's people out there that speak Spanish. Así que mi gente, he estado pensando mucho en estos dos artistas que a mí me gustan mucho, que son Cristian Nodal y Ángela Aguilar. Y no sé, me fascinan esos dos muchachos, cantan precioso. Yo no sé si ustedes alguna vez lo han escuchado, pero si han visto mi perfil o mi profile en YouTube, yo los menciono, menciono mucho a Ángela Aguilar, que me fascina cómo canta esa niña. La he estado siguiendo de que ella tenía temprana edad de 7 años, y más temprano, creo que de 3 o 5 años, ha estado cantando esa niña con su papá. Así que a mí me gusta mucho esos dos cantantes. Pues ella se reunió con este niño, Cristian Nodal, que canta de lo más bello. A mí me fascina Cristian Nodal como canta. Está tremendo ese muchacho. Y entonces, pues ellos dos se han unido, sus almas se han enamorado. They both, have gotten married. I think a year ago already. They celebrated their first anniversary of marriage, and they both sing tremendously well. I mean, she has an amazing voice. She sings very. I mean, if you go out on the on the web or the internet and check out her music. Angela Aguilar, she sings tremendously well. She has an amazing voice. She is fantastic. I mean, I love the way she sings. I mean, she sings both Spanish and English, and she sings Mexican culture music very well. I mean, and she's very pretty inside out. She's young. She's 20. I think she just turned 21. She's really a gorgeous, girl. And there's been a lot of controversy about her marriage with Cristian Nodal. Pues muchas, a lot of people don't. Hi, Ray Gibson, how are you? I'm talking Spanish here, talking about talking about Angel Aguilar and Cristian Nodal. These two are my favorite singers. They both from Mexico, and she speaks English just as well. But her music is amazing. If you guys go in the internet and key her name, Angela Aguilar is, in Spanish is Angela, is Angela, her name, and her last name is Aguilar. She comes from a dynasty. Her father is a Mexican icon singer. He's just sings amazing. So anyway, I have always loved the Mexican music. I just love the culture, the food, and I have following them, and I just love her music. And then I'm gonna go back to Spanish now. I'm saying that yo he estado siguiendo a estos dos niños, estos dos muchachos, estos dos cantantes, Ángela Aguilar y Cristian Nodal. El Cristian Nodal canta, pero de lo más bello, de lo más tremendo. A mí me fascina su canción, canta el cabrón, el cabrón que yo me he convertido. Me fascina esa canción tremenda a mí. No, el título creo que no lo sé muy bien, pero se trata, la música, la canción se trata de que él es un cabrón, que él se ha convertido al cabrón que nunca ha querido ser. Es tremenda la canción esa, y a mí me fascina mucho. Y tiene muchas canciones. El, el muchacho canta, pero de lo más bello. Si ustedes lo escuchan, les va a gustar. Les va a gustar muchísimo sus canciones si hablan español. Um, Hey, Ray Gibson, how you doing? I'm doing okay. I'm talking about Cristian Nodal. Have you ever heard of him? He sings amazing. Él canta de lo más bello ese muchacho. Este tiene un repertorio de música, pero tremendo, tremendo. Y la muchacha con que él se casó es una muchacha de 21 años que se llama Ángela Aguilar. Pues él fue casado antes con esta muchacha Kazoo, que ella es una muchacha chilena que también que tiene muchos seguidores que la siguen porque ella también está en el espectáculo de la música, ella es una artista chilena y canta de lo más bonito también. Pero, como es la vida, uh, you know, like life, love doesn't last forever, neither does life. So, ellos se rompieron su compromiso, su unidad de amantes. Entonces ellos se dejaron y este muchacho, Cristian Nodal, pues siguió su camino y él estuvo enamorado de Ángela Aguilar anteriormente, pero la niña estaba muy joven y entonces pues ella creo que tenía 14 años y él tenía 10, 14, 6, creo que 6 años mayor que ella. Como sea, ella estaba muy pequeña, 14, y él tenía 10, digamos 19 años, estaba muy joven. Pero ahora ella tiene 21 años y están casados, se casaron hace un año atrás. Y entonces, pues los dos andan en, ¿cómo se llama? ¿Cómo se llama? En tour. Tienen sus conciertos. Él tiene su concierto aparte y ella tiene su concierto aparte. También andan haciendo giras en Estados Unidos. Y a mí me gustaría que ellos hicieran giras juntos. I think a lot of people would like them to tour together because they're an amazing couple. Young. They have the life ahead of them, and they they they're very talented. The girl Angela Aguilar is very talented. She comes from a dynasty of singers. Her grandmother is an icon name, Flor Silvestre, and her father is Pepe Aguilar, who is another icon, Mexican icon, who sings tremendously. I love his music. Pepe Aguilar is my favorite too. He sings amazing, he has songs con mujeres como tú. Hay hombres como yo. Esa canción me fascina. Con mujeres como tú. Hay hombres como yo. I don't sing well, but I'm giving you a taste of what his songs are. I mean, I love his music. So anyway, going back to the girl, so her father is an icon, Mexican singer icon, and she's been singing since she was very young. He used to take her to his concerts, and obviously the girl became a great singer. So now I think she's turned 21 or 22, and she is at the height now at 22. Can you imagine being a singer since you were 3? She's took lessons of what everything that that goes with the music, uh, um, vocal cords. She takes care of her vocal cords, she says all the time, and she took up opera lessons. I mean, the girl, when you hear her singing, she has some lungs, man. She really, she has tremendous. Her voice is just for she goes like when she sings those songs, La Malagueña, she holds the notes like for God knows like for a minute or 5 minutes, and it just sounds beautiful. She's just anyway, she's really an amazing. So anyway, so she's been married. She's married. They celebrated the first anniversary already, and like I said before, she started her American tour. Um, Going back to Spanish now. So those who speak Spanish, they can understand. Pues ella empezó ya a hacer un concierto en los Estados Unidos Texas, va a estar en Texas, en California, Georgia, y me gustaría que ella estuviera en Nueva York, pero no tiene conciertos en Nueva York. Um, so estoy esperando a ver si vienen por aquí por Nueva York para yo poder ir. I mean, I would love to go see her. So anyway, I hope you like their if you want, I mean, check it out. Check those two guys. Check those two singers out. Her name is Angela Aguilar, and his and her husband is Cristian Nodal, Nodal, Cristian Nodal. I'm pretty sure you have heard it. Hopefully you guys have heard of him. He has a big following. The kid, I think he started singing when he was really really young. He's a songwriter, and very talented. And he started his music on YouTube uh, at a very young age too. Just like her. And he's for I think that he presented all his singings, all his songs through YouTube, and I think that's where he became, that's where he took off from, his career took off from YouTube. And now he's an icon. I mean, he's closing numbers concerts in everywhere in the world now. I mean, he tours, Germany, France, you name it, or everywhere. In Central America, he was just in Central America recently, and he does very well. I mean, he right now I think he's doing his American tour, and also he's filling in those arenas, and he's doing tremendously well. And it would be really amazing if the two of them will tour together. I mean, I think there would be a very interesting power couple. The two of them, two talented, two young, nice looking, talented couple, and married at the same time. Being married in this world of entertainment is not easy. It's a very hard thing. You Hi, Ray Gibson. I'm happy that you're here with me. You're listening to my shit. I'm happy. I haven't been on live for a while because sometimes you feel like you want to do something. You want to do a live and talk to people and chat a little, because it's really good to talk to people that have listened to you before. Like to chat a little bit and give them a little info or things that you like. I don't have a written itinerary of things or things to talk to you about. Like whatever comes to my head, I said, "Oh, let me talk to them about these two singers that I like. That I'm pretty sure they'll be interested. Or sometimes my plans. Oh my God, my plans. I'll shift right now from these two artists that I wanted to share information to you about. So I'll shift to talk about my plants. My God, my garden. My garden looks like deserted now, except for my roses. My roses are looking good, and I have to show you. I think I did speak to you in the past about I propagated a few roses. Very nice. They were propagating, right? I had like about five stems that I propagated. Oh, you're so sweet. You make my heart feel happy. Thank you. You're so sweet. I'm so happy. I tell you one thing that I'm very happy. I'm not a youngster. I shouldn't be telling you my age, but you can tell by by my looking at me. I've been around, and I'm a nurse. I'm a retired nurse, and I loved being a nurse. I mean, it's one of my greatest joy to have been a nurse and contribute to society in that way. I loved, how. how I served the community. You get to know, I'm I live in a very close knit and very small village, and everything is, businesses around. It's like everybody knows everybody. So where I worked, we served a different, different boroughs, different, different communities. But you get to know everybody from the community. If you get to see, somebody that and you get happy to serve them and make them feel better, and you feel like an angel to help people. So it was an honor for me to be having, contributed to society that way and help people get better when they came into my to my hospital. And and I helped them to recover. So yes, so I've been around. So I'm not a young lady that, and I haven't been. Also, I'm not somebody that has an abundance of vocabulary and speaks super well. I'm just like like you guys, who listening to me. So anyway, so that's part of my experience. And then so after having retired, then I do a lot of gardening. Gardening is an amazing thing. So as I was saying, the garden is like, it looks so deserted, because winter is coming. We almost mid November. So all my plants are kind of like dead, except for the roses, like I mentioned to you before. So I have taken some of the bulbs out. I think I mentioned in my previous live, I told you that I have taken the rhizomes. What do you say? For me, I don't want no young love. My love, I want a woman even 60. Oh God. Well, I'm over that. So anyway, so I took all the rhizomes or the bulbs of my calla lilies out, and my husband took some of the yesterday. He took off some of the elephant ear bulbs out. That's a big job. You have to, because the it's been a little cold, I would say. I had to take my Christmas plant inside, which was blooming already. My next live, I'll show you this beautiful big Christmas cactus. It was like I brought it in the night before, because it was going to be like 43 degrees, I think. So I told my son, help me bring this thing in. And I noticed that it was almost already, blooming. Had like all the buds coming out. So on my next live, I'll show you that plant. It's a beautiful plant. I had it for about, I would say, for about more than 15 years. And I keep pruning it all the time that I take it out. So anyway, yes, I am a long time, a long time. Being a nurse for a while is, you find it partner. So anyway, so I have that, and then like, so I'm gonna be this weekend. I'm gonna start taking a few more of the. I have like about six giant calla lilies, which didn't bloom much except one flower bloomed, and it bloomed mid October, like October, and I don't think I was able to make a live with the plant finally grew. I haven't even checked it out, to tell you the truth. But I said to my husband, look, the giant calla lily is big. So I have to do that this week and get we say bulbs, but it's called rhizome. They call rhizome, not bulbs, but people will call them bulbs. So I have to take them out and and wash them and put them away. So that's that. Anyway, going back to the stem of roses that I had propagated, that I mentioned to you. So I had propagated about five stem already, and I had covered them with the plastic, like they usually tell you to cover the plants that you propagate with the plastic, bottles, which I did. And I had them like for about 2 3 weeks. And so 3 weeks is 3 times 7 is what, the 21 days, correct? So shoots were coming out of the stem and it looked beautiful. So I told my husband, you know what? It's been 21 days. I think it's time for me to take the caps off, the plastic caps, where they get the humidity from. because when you propagate, you're supposed to cover them with some plastic over it, and so that way they'll get the humidity which they need in order to root. Correct. So I took plastic off, and it turns and like I noticed that the little shoots were dying, man. So when I noticed that, I told my husband, um, I think I'm gonna have to put the covers back on, the plastic covers, the Coca-Cola, the big Coca-Cola plastic covers. You cut the top and then you insert it in. So I put it back on the five of them. It turned out that four didn't make it, and I gotta show you on my next live the other one that made it. She's doing good. She's doing it. So it's amazing to propagate. You guys, on my next live, I'll show you. I'll show you, and if you whoever is present and whoever will accompany me on my live, and I'll go over and tell them about propagating, how amazing and easy. It's the easiest thing to do. Oops, sorry. It's the easiest thing to do, and you'll see how can you make plants in your house without paying big bucks. It's the easiest thing. So my husband propagated a few things. So also, I if you go on my lives, you'll see that we also had in my garden coleus, coleus plants, which my husband had from a tiny seed. He had he had initiated my population of coleus plants in the house. So it's a time anyway. When this coleus plant grows up, it throws up a lot of seeds. Those same seeds you can just start it over again and plant it. And let me tell you, they very very fertile. Those seeds, they grow and they become these gorgeous beautiful plants. So anyway, I do have to make up a life for you guys to continue my previous story, which I will do, maybe depending on how busy I am this weekend, or if I'm not, I'll do that, and I'll show you, I'll show you my Christmas cactus plant that is blooming already, and I'll show you the coleus plants that my husband is, from seed is making, and I'll show you my propagated rose that is coming out beautiful, and some of the stuff that's going on in my house. So anyway, that's my shifting back. And then also, there's a lot of cleaning to do in my garden, and which this weekend. So I'm gonna be really busy this weekend. I have that to do, and and I have oak trees. Oak trees lay a lot of leaves that I have that to clean up. And I'm not a youngster. It's a lot of work to do cleaning up, and then bringing all that debris of dead leaves onto the sidewalk, onto the edge of the sidewalk, so the Department of Sanitation can pick up all those leaves. So that's a lot of work that I have to do, and maybe I'll do a live and show you all the hard work that goes along with that, and so you can see where there's live in the suburbs, and you have to work hard. So anyway, but that keeps you young, and that keeps you heart and soul, go to continue motivate you to do things in life, because when you get old, when you get over 60, you want to work that little brain of yours, and physically also, otherwise you'll end up with aches and pains. And also you have to watch out what you eat so you don't get too fat, because being fat is not good. Overweight is not good, because you don't want your heart to overwork. Remember, we human beings we are like a machine also. What I mean, you cannot put overweight, or if you have a car, you cannot put so much shit over stuff over the car, because you'll get a flat tire. Correct. Too much weight on something is not good. So the same thing goes for us human beings. Too much weight. Remember, the heart has to work hard to pump all the blood and let it circulate around your body. So if you are a little obese or a little too much weight, it makes it hard for you to walk, climb up the stairs, and you cannot really pick up, weight, and to lift it up to go up the stairs, because your knees will feel it. Remember, you're picking up something that's heavy, and you'll feel it on your knees. You feel the pain. So it's not good to overwork your body if you overweight. So what do? You have to watch your diet. You cannot just eat stuff that is not good for you. You have to eat good stuff, good legumes, or beans, fiber. There's a lot of stuff there that's good as a fiber source. Plantains, good. Bananas are good, not only a good source of fiber, but it's also good source of vitamins, potassium. You need potassium for your muscles. You wonder sometimes, that's another thing. A lot of people that especially us, the elderly, you know, that we don't have much stuff to do because our kids left us. We have empty nest. So what do? We don't have to cook much anymore, right? So what a lot of people do, out of not having much to do, they get lazy. They don't want to do work, or they get up late because they don't have the responsibility of watching out for the kids that they had and the work. So that happens a lot. There's a lot to do as you get older. There's a lot of thinking to do because you old. You don't want to you don't want to become lazy, and you don't want to when you become lazy, you don't have you don't motivate to do yourself to do stuff, so your brain becomes mushy too, right? You don't do any reading, you don't cook much. So what happens? So you're not supplementing, or you're not giving yourself supplements for your body. Like you're not exercising, you're not reading, you're not eating well. So what happens? Your machine is gonna break, right? You need to drink water. That's another thing. There's a lot of things. You have to be responsible for your body. You have to uh, give your body food that's appropriate. When you guys are young, you don't really take care of yourself good either. I mean, you guys that are young, you don't really take care of yourself. You're so invisible when you're young. I mean, I was young at once. I remember my mother or my sister used to tell me, "Put your jacket on. It's cold outside." You know what I mean? You feel like you're not cold. You're so cool. You don't want to, you wear this tiny little sweater because you want to look cool, right? But you're not thinking that you're going to get sick. It's cold outside. You need to protect your chest from cold, getting a cold. And because you get a cold, and if you don't have medical insurance, you have to go to the doctor. Then bad things could happen to your body. You could get a pneumonia if it goes undeterred. So you have to take care of yourself when you're young. But when you're young, you're so invisible, you don't think much about it. And especially if you have your mom to take care of, to take care of for you after you, then you don't worry. But then the teens come up and you're out there to you don't take good care of yourself either. And as we get older, and we don't have kids around, like I said, we have an empty nest. A lot of elderly, as a nurse, I know that a lot of elderly, they don't, they're really not taking, their families are not taking care of the elderly, and they staying home, and they laying in bed, they get sick, their families or the kids, they have their own families and they have to take care of themselves, and they're not taking care of their parents, and that is a very bad. It's an issue, you know, not to take care of your elderly, of your mom and dad, because you're too busy. So what happens? They don't want to burden their families, right? Your mother, how you doing, mom? And she says, I'm doing okay. And then you take that. You think she's doing okay. She looks good, but no, she doesn't want to burden you with her problems. She probably doesn't. When you're older, you want to become an independent, and you don't want to, worry your family. But yeah, they have their own problems. They want to talk. They remember the social life becomes less, you know, and they have the friends are dying. They don't have, they don't go out as much. They don't drive as much. So yeah, there's a lot of shit going on when you grow old. They're not, like I said before, they're not eating well. They're not supplementing, vitamins. They're not taking. So there's a lot of stuff. And what happens? Your body, when you're not, let's say for instance, you're not even drinking water much, right? And you need water. You have a blood that's circulating through the body. That blood could become thick, which and then with the shit that you don't even eat well, the blood becomes thick if you're not eating enough water. And then you need potassium, you need sodium for your muscles. Then you get aches and pains. You don't know what the aches and pains come from, right? Oh, my mother's complaining of aches, so I give her Tylenol or Motrin, or what they call non-steroidal medication. And you have to know that if we give him Motrin or Advil, then you need to have something on your stomach. You cannot just give that on an empty stomach, And so who's taking care of that person? Who's a lot of people don't think about it, but I think of giving aspirin. Give aspirin. Aspirin, too much aspirin is no good. Anyway, so having experienced that in my life and being a nurse, and I know that what happens, and on top of that, right, they get depressed. They're not going to show it to you. They're not going to say anything to you or the family because, like I said, they don't want to burn the families, right? So there's a lot of shit that goes on, man. I started to talk about two young couples that are doing so well, and I don't know how I ended up this discussion about being old and not being able to take care of yourself well. But like I said, experiences that teaches you, like you need to be seasoned and experienced like I am to know about life. Like I know when I started to do this life, I started to talk about two young Mexican artists named Cristian Nodal and Angela Aguilar or Angela Aguilar, and I started my YouTube in Spanish because I wanted to talk to you in Spanish too, and I ended up talking about something else because I have so much shit to tell you about. So yes, anyway, having been a nurse, and like I said, sometimes when you talk to somebody, you say to yourself, experiences do teach you a lot. You learn through experiences, right? Being a gardener, I do learn from my mistakes. I learned that I did this wrong. I mean, I planted this on the wrong spot, and it's not good. So also, like when you plant stuff, you have to know how to, if it's too much sun, how much sun can this plant receive? Or if it's too much, like I have two hydrangeas plants that it's too much sun for them, and in the spot where I have them, they need the sun, but the sun is like too constant in that side. Like 8 hours of sun could have been all right, but because she receives too much sun, it wilts the flowers. And the hydrangea flowers are beautiful, but by I when I by 3 o'clock, by 4 o'clock, those flowers are wilted, and they get the form, they shape back again, the shape form of the hydrangea, beautiful flower, like about 6 o'clock. Or sometimes when I do water it, and it still wilts, but by 6 o'clock when the sun is not hitting it, it just goes back to that. Like was so stressed. Even the plants, they get stressed. She's so stressed, but since the sun is out of the way, she goes back, and it looks like a relief. Like the whole plant goes, back in shape. So you learn through your experience. I said to my husband, we're not, next time I plant the hydrangea, which I have made sure that I planted in a different spot. So you learn stuff from your mistakes, and through mistakes you learn a lot. You learn to visualize what you'll do next, and how will you take care of yourself. So having been a nurse, I'm telling you, and I'm talking to you guys, it has taught me a lot. Has taught me that to know that if not to judge, not to be judgmental about people, but because I had many, I had a lot of experience in my life with patients. You have to be courteous. You know what I mean? Remember, when you see an elderly person on your way next time in your when you go shopping groceries next time, if you see an elderly person, be kind. If if you see her that she's paying, if you happen to be on the cashier line and it's an elderly lady trying to trying to pay, with cash, and if you see her that she's struggling to get the pennies, you know what I mean? It's be kind. Have patience. If don't start like, oh my God, this lady doesn't. She's old. She's a little older. You know what I mean? Give her time. Then move on to a different line. But don't pressure her, or don't make her embarrassed. Because remember, that lady could be your mom, man. Could be, it's it's touching. You know what I mean? That even trying to take your coins, your fingers, her fingers are maybe, she can't feel, even your fingers when you're old, they don't have ridges. You know what I mean? When you're young, you have ridges in your fingers, and you're able to pick up better. But when you get older, those ridges disappear. So anyway, so yes, be kind when you see an older lady on the cashier line making payments, because she's struggling to pay cash. She's trying to get her little nickels and whatever to pay the lady. And another thing is that when an older person, when you see an older person, be respectful, because that older person has a big history. You know what I mean? Has a big history. He just keeps it quiet. He or she keeps it quiet within himself or herself. But they have a tremendous wisdom. you know be respectful, because that person could be your mother or your father or your uncle. An elderly is someone that is sacred. I mean, to me as a nurse, to me, that's how I treated any patient, whether young or old. But to me, more especially, I was more compassionate to the elderly patient, because remember, they're there. They're in the hospital for a reason. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's another thing. When I had a patient that the back of the head was bald. Sometimes you can see the back of the head was bald. I knew that that patient was many hours laying in bed without being turned. That's To me, that was abuse. I saw it as an abuse to see a female or male, but mostly you see, female patients with the back balded. That's the being too long on the back, and not being turned or not moved. No, maybe she wasn't able to move, whatever. So that hair died. It died. So you can see that an elderly patient, to me, that was abuse. So, but you don't judge. You know what I mean? You bring her in. You start giving her good nutrition in the hospital, and take good care of that lady. And then next, what? Guess what happens? This 80 lady became a really 17-year-old. She's very, walking around and chatting and like ready to be discharged. And as a nurse, that gives you it's a big reward to give that to people. The respect, the service of helping them, and to listen. I mean, even if you didn't have time, but 5 minutes, listen to your elderly for 5 minutes. And my advice to you is, like, yes, next time you see an elderly person, be nice. Be nice, be respectful. Talk to them, talk to the elderly. Visit. If you have neighbors, visit them. Visit your neighbors and and that are elderly and try to help them. What I mean, if you know that you have neighbors that are older, which is everybody has, don't shut them off. Be nice. Um, watch out for the elderly neighbor. You know what I mean? Drop. Sometimes if you have a single that's single, that lives alone, watch out for them. What I mean, check for it doesn't pay much to go across the street and find out, are you okay? What I mean, if you have extra food or whatever, what I mean, that you're not eating or whatever, or don't throw it out. Offer it. So yes, be nice. Be nice to your elderly, okay? So yes, so like I was saying, that experiences do teach you. Experiences do season you. You know, makes you a better person. Uh, when you know about things, when uh, you know, things of in life, occurrences of experiences in life that you know of, they help you in the future. You what's the word? Um, that I'm trying to find out. I can't find out the word. But whatever you learn in life, you know what I mean, you use it. You use it in the future. Every experience doesn't go to waste. Every experience that you learn in your life, from even from being young, it teaches you. It teaches you in the future. So don't think that whatever you learn in this life goes to waste, because it doesn't. You'll come across about something in your life, and it will always be helpful. So yes. So going back to, so I'm gonna shift. I'm gonna shift back to the Spanish. Ay, yo empecé esta conversación con estos dos artistas que me gustan mucho, Ángel Aguilar y Cristian Nodal. I started this live with the intention to talk to you about them, which is Cristian Nodal y Ángel Aguilar. These are two Mexican artists, singing artists that I do admire very much, and I like them. Me gustan mucho esos dos artistas, cantan de lo más bello. Si ustedes les interesa, a mí me gustaría que ustedes lo buscaran en el internet. Su nombre es Cristian Nodal y Ángela Aguilar. Así que ustedes chequen la música de ellos. Es una música muy, muy linda. A mí me gusta mucho la música. I have two pigeons here. I'm in a parking lot, and and they're so pretty. I'm gonna see if I can see you. It's windy outside. Let me see. Um, no, it's not. Again, I can't. I could, but I can't because it's kind of windy. So they're like. So anyway, what is I saying? So that's what I started to say about these two artists, two Mexican artists, uh, Cristian Nodal y Ángel Aguilar. Así que ustedes chequen su música. Es una música preciosa. A mí me gusta mucho la música mexicana. La cultura mexicana me encanta la comida mexicana mucho. Um, es deliciosa. Y la música mexicana, a mí me fascinan las rancheras. Me entretienen mucho. A mí me gusta mucho también Selena. Ustedes recuerdan a Selena. Selena cantaba de lo más lindo. Bidi Bidi Bam Bam. Esa muchacha cantaba de lo más precioso. Chicana, ella es chicana, música, los de padres creo que eran mexicanos también, y ella cantaba de lo más precioso, pero muy temprana edad, ah, ella la mataron. Creo que fue una de sus integrantes, de las muchachas que trabajaban con ella, creo que era la muchacha que ella más tenía confianza, y she was assassinated, Selena. Beautiful artist, beautiful singer. Um, I mean, I'm pretty sure you all know Selena. So we call him Selena in English and Selena Quintanilla in Spanish. Selena Quintanilla and Selena Quintanilla in Spanish. Muy interesante la muchacha, muy linda también. Cantaba precioso ella, me fascina también como ella cantaba Selena, esta muchacha. Y hasta hoy, until today, her music lives on. You know, Selena's voice is still. I mean, if you go on the internet and keyboard, keyboard Selena's name, Selena Quintanilla, or just Selena, look at her music. I mean, she has so many views. She's a beautiful singer. So, uh, like I said, and that's another artist that I do like, and and then also there's actually a lot of we all like different. There's many there's many singers out there that you like. I mean, what is it that you like? Swift, Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift. That's another one, American. Um, that we like. But then, going back to, like I said, Cristian Nodal y Ángela Aguilar son dos artistas que a mí me fascinan, me gustan mucho. You know, I would like to have to see Ángela Aguilar in New York. I mean, too bad at the time that she was here, it was, we had the pandemic. And my husband wasn't so thrilled about me going to the city, and it was not the pandemic was still, we still had not gotten rid of it, the COVID. So, but I noticed that she does not have she's touring USA, but she's not, doesn't have doesn't have anything for New York, any dates. I don't know if she's going to add some of those dates later on. Who knows? But I told my daughter maybe if she does, I've been watching. If she adds New York to her tour, I would love to go see her. And um, Cristian Nodal doesn't have his tour in the USA, but again, he does not have any dates for New York either. Last time he was here in Brooklyn, I think it was Barclays. I, you know, I couldn't find somebody to go with me because I don't want to go alone. So uh, I would love to see him. Would like to see him in concert. It would be really, really. I'm very, fan. I'm a big fan of his songs, Spanish songs. All of them are Spanish, but they are amazing. So you guys check it out. Check out. I'm going to say it in Spanish too. Chequen el nombre de Cristian Nodal y, y, y busquen su música. Check Cristian Nodal. Again, his name is Cristian, and that's the first name, Cristian, and then the second name is Nodal. 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 Chequen su música. Es una música muy, muy, muy linda. A mí me fascina. Um, it would be nice if I could play, if I could play his music. But I don't have it, maybe I should bring a second iPad so I can play his music and you can listen to it. And the same with her. She sings, like I mentioned, she has this big, she holds these notes for a long time. She sings Malagueña Salerosa, which has a tremendous, she holds those notes like, and she sings other songs that she likes to sing the old time ballads, from years ago. She plays. I'm not. I mean, not she plays. She sings these. She has an album out there. Angela Aguilar, I'm talking about. She uh, she has she came out with an album. I think it was last year. It's the old ballads um, uh, from years ago. They're beautiful. It's nobody sings that way anymore. But she brought it back. She brought up the I don't. I'm pretty sure it has a success because I bought it, and I'm pretty sure other people bought it that are aware of it. But the thing is that not that many artists do have that uh, the talent of bringing that old time way of singing ballads. Um, it's like it makes it breathless to just to listen to it, because you think about all the artists that were influenced by this type of music. That's how they become, they get a name for themselves, because you see that has talent, that it creates an immense talent. This is not, it's not only just to make music. Anybody can write something. What I mean. But the talent to, how do you get a hit? What I mean. How do you get a hit? That's another thing. Talent lasts only for a certain amount frame of time. I mean, you hear names of artists that they were at the prime, of the time. Right now, Taylor Swift is still, she's still is at her prime. Is still, she's not declining yet. But it comes a time that you have no talent anymore. What I mean. You have no inspiration. It takes a lot of inspiration is to be inspired and to come up with a good song all the time. Like, how do you get inspired? I guess it's the youth. The juice that that you have, that God gives you. So yeah, use it. Use that gift, that because it ends. Anyway, it's been a while since I've been talking to you. So anyway, I want to leave you the note that I may continue. I still have also, I started to also at one time I did the live for Pittman. Remember, I showed you how certain words are written in the Pittman shorthand years ago. When that's another thing. I got inspired to show you guys the Pittman, the shorthand. Years ago, as I was a secretary once too. I learned how to write Pittman. Which shorthand Pittman. And it's very interesting how as I talk, I could be writing what I'm talking about. You can write 100 words per minute, that way. So I gotta show you another words. I only showed you a few words, and maybe I'll do a follow up and I'll show you a few words of how to I've written, and so maybe you can be interested to write. I'll inspire you guys to write, give you some inspiration. I'll give you some inspiration on what to do. So I don't know what happened. Something happened here. Anyway, so I'll show you that, and I have to do a follow up on that. And what else? And about my plans, my cleaning up, and whatever comes to my head. So what came to my head? Sometimes sometimes you think of something, right? It's like when you meet a friend and you didn't make an appointment to meet her, and you said, like, things do happen impromptu. Oh, the word that I was looking at, that I was thinking of, is cultivation. When you learn things, cultivate in life, meaning you learn things. You do learn them for a reason. What I mean. You cultivating for the future. So don't think. That's what I meant to. That's what I was. How things come back to your head. So yes, that's what I couldn't think of the right word at the time, but that's what I meant. Yes, I meant to that. Experience teaches you a lot. And how do you learn from cultivating in life? Learning things in life, and every little thing that you learn in life, it will don't think that is useless. It will be stored for the future, ahead of you. You will use what you learned years before. You will use it in the future. Trust me. Trust me. This lady knows what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. And you listen to me and you say, oh, she's so full of shit. No, I'm not full of shit. You'll know. You say, oh, I heard this lady in the internet. She was talking about cultivate experience. And she's right. No, it is true. So what not only will you use it in the future, it will serve its purpose for someone else. You will inspire somebody else that you given their something, a tool to learn something. I mean, always anything that you learn in life is useful. So yes, so like I said, if next time that I do a live, I will do that. I will not next time, but I'll show you. Like I said, I have to do that. I have to show you. I have to show you the Pitman shorthand. A few more, how to do more wording with it, which is very interesting. You get to learn. You get to learn how to write certain things, like whatever words coming out of my mouth right now is written could be written in shorthand in a very tiny little thing, a little circle, little something. Little circle means something. In Pitman. So yeah. So I'll do what do you call a follow up on that. And there are a few more things that I do do follow up on that I haven't done. So I'll do about the plants, and I'll show you about my cleaning up in my yard that I have to do. You'll see it's a lot of work. And then not only that, the leaves from the oak trees, they don't fall once. They like keep falling. It's like it's right now it's November. I think the cleaning up continues till the end of December, like towards December 30th. You still have to clean up and bring all that to the curve. Although, so the sanitation department could take it away. So that's a lot of work, for now. My husband and I are not youngsters anymore. It's not like we're 34 and you did all that work and you can do. Now it takes a lot to do a little things. But imagine if we didn't keep up, if you're above 60s and you don't do no physical or mental, you don't stimulate your body, then things do go to waste, and you don't. There's plenty in life. There's so much in life that you to look forward for, that you can do. But sometimes people give up. Sometimes people give up and they don't want to do certain things. They don't know what they're missing too. I mean, you don't know what you're missing. You're missing so much in life. There's so much in life. I have my grandkids to look forward to. My husband and I still, can do things. So keep yourself busy. I mean, even if you're still young, don't be lazy. Don't be a couch potato. Keep yourself busy mentally. Read is very important. Reading, it is the cheapest or the most inexpensive way to travel to different parts of the world. Reading is, a lot of people may say, oh, read is no good. No, pick up a nice book. A book will take you places that you never have been. And it's amazing. It's amazing. Reading, I advocate for you guys. So yeah, that's another thing I could inspire you in. Reading is very, very important, very good, stimulates your brain. And it's like reading is like it's even better than watching TV. Sometimes you watch a movie that it was from a book. People will say the book is much better. So yes, my advice to you is that pick up a book, go to the library. It doesn't take much. Don't be lazy. Go to the library and stop picking a book. I don't. It's spy book. Any book is very important to read. Reading is a great thing. So yes, I'm letting you know that's also another thing that to do, stimulates your brain. It gives you power, and also that it also will aid you to have conversations with people. You're in a group, and they'll mention in the book that you're reading. There you go. That goes another communicative way to meet people too. So reading is very important. So don't waste your time. Get a book, and read. And what else? What else can I tell you? Be happy. Be happy that you're alive, that you made it another day, and you contributing to society in a very good way, and you helping people. And there's no greatest joy than to help your neighbor and to be good. So with that note, I'll let you go and thank you again for staying with me to my life, and see you soon. Take care and be well and stay